It's 17:30 GMT live from Adabraka in Accra. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM with Umaru Sanda. I'm here with
Mina W.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
If you're a leader, be prepared to say, I'm sorry. If you're a child, be prepared to say, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I will take this opportunity on behalf of the party to kneel down before my dad. Please forgive us. Let's come together to build this country.
Apologetic NDC National Vice Chair Anita DeSoso kneels before party founder Jerry John Rawlings to pray for forgiveness. But did she really have the blessings of the party? We'll be finding out tonight on Eyewitness News. Also coming up, the maverick NPP Member of Parliament Kennedy Ejepon, who has taken his dislike for investigative journalist Anas Arimio Anas to a notch higher, or rather to absurd levels, with a demand for his hanging.
I want to establish clearly, say, Anas, when you're corrupt, I'll see you hanging Anas for the evil things he has done to Ghanaians in the course of the investigation. I want to know massive wealth. I want Ghana.
We'll be hearing more and also talk to the leadership in Parliament on how exactly they intend to rein in these Member of Parliament. And later on Eyewitness News.
Well, I can tell you that officials of the National Identification Authority are here in their numbers. The register staff at the presidency, the ongoing National Identification Authority investigation with regards to the issuance of the national card.
After several failed attempts, National Identification Authority begins issuing Ghana cards, at least at the Flagstaff House or Jubilee House. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many more stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
investigative report on Newmont's Ghana's Ahafo accident finds Newmont and two other subcontractors a total of $2.7 million. Also, Ghana's agric industry is still reeling under lack of logistics, as report reveals that 2,000 farmers in Ghana share one extension officer.
Pius Emihi Eduko returns in 50 minutes with details of the top stories in business. Eyewitness News is live across the country on a number of affiliates and across the globe on citynewsroom.com. Your comments are welcome via our WhatsApp line 0549 986 996 0549 986 996. You can join the discussion by sending your views. You can also tweet at me at Citi973 with the hashtag Citi Newsroom. You can also tweet at Umaru Sanda or at Mina W with your comments. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. And later on Eyewitness News, the civil society group called One Ghana Movement, which is demanding justice for June 3 victims 3 years after the national disaster. But our first story has to do with the June 4 commemoration, which was held today at Medina in Accra, at which ceremony was attended by a number of officials of the party, including party founder Jerry John Rawlings. Indeed, National Party Chairman Kofi Potofi was in attendance, so as former Blekuma South and former Minister for Information Fritz Bafo. But of the curious or the most important aspect of the deliveries today was one from former national women organizer of the National Democratic Congress, who is the national vice chair of the party, Anita DeSoso. She took the microphone and made the following remarks.
And I also know you are a human being. You have also done something maybe it's not right. And I was so happy when I heard you saying that when you brought a statement out, rendering apology. You are a hero. You are a hero. You are a hero. This shows that what you have taught me is still within me. If you are a leader, be prepared to say, I'm sorry. If you are a child, be prepared to say, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I will take this opportunity on behalf of the party to kneel down before my dad. Please forgive us. Let's come together to build this country. Thank you very much.
So that's Anita DeSoso apologizing to former president and NDC founder Jerry John Rawlings at the June 4 commemoration earlier this afternoon. A number of other officials were there, but one person who was not there is the party general secretary, Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He has been speaking. Mina, tell us a story.
Indeed, so according to a communications member of the Greater Accra Region branch of the NDC, NS Kwame, Asiedu Nketia refused to be part of the ceremony because his name was omitted from the ceremony's program outline. The founder of the party, Jerry Rawlings, and senior party officials today converged on the Medina Social Welfare School Park to commemorate the 39th anniversary of the June 4th celebration. And as Kwame spoke to Citi News on the development.
What was most unfortunate to me is that the data secretary left at the grounds with the reason that his name wasn't part of the dignitaries, so he could not do anything concerning the function today. The party is having a big family, so I don't think all the those who call themselves the big men's name can appear on the dignitaries list. Looking at on his face, it seems he was very disappointed that his name wasn't on the list of the dignitaries. So it looked as if he was very angry. Why? Or he was not comfortable why his name still have been in the list and his name was not in. The party is bigger than any individual. So every single person should go by the party rules and regulation and respect the party about his own or his parochial interest. Let's put the party first before individual interest. Because once your name doesn't appear, somebody else has appeared. So once you have been a general secretary for a while, it was some other people who voted you to that position. So you need to give those who vote that same respect that they give it to you before getting to that position as a general secretary.
That was a communications member of the Greater Accra Regional
of June 4th. Indeed, many of these personalities have shamelessly dissociated themselves from our history in a bid to create the impression that it is a blot on the image of the party. It is that suicidal tendency.
So you heard former President Jerry John Rawlings, who is founder of the NDCs. We'll hear more from exactly what Jerry Rawlings had to tell party faithful today at that event held to commemorate the June 4 event, 39th anniversary of the June 4 celebration at the Medina Social Welfare School Park. But before then, let's go back to main story for tonight, which is the apology from Anita Desoso on behalf of the National Democratic Congress. Was she asked to do this or not? Koku Anyidoho is a Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. He was at today's event, I believe. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. Were you at today's commemoration?
Yes, I was, Omar.
Great. Now, did your party assign Anita Desoso to apologize on your behalf for crimes you may have committed against the founder in the past?
What is your problem with that one, Umar?
I want to know.
Well, good evening to your listeners and good evening to everybody. Yeah, she spoke on behalf of the chairman. Chairman Pototi could not make it to the event, and Anita Desoso was the senior most person from the National Executive who was there. She spoke on behalf of the party.
I see. And what crimes could you have possibly committed as a party in the past that needed you to publicly apologize for her to kneel in the presence of the founder and apologize?
Did she kneel?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Did you see her kneel?
Yes, I did. I saw her kneel and apologize in the presence of the founder, and the founder wasn't even looking at her, but yes, she knelt in front of him and apologized.
And what is wrong with that?
I think I didn't say there was anything wrong. I asked you a question.
June 4th is and shall always be the foundation stone of the birth of the NDC. It started on May 15th, 1979. Then June 4th came to 31st December. And then the NDC was born. And so, yes, as a political party, we hold strong to the tenets of June 4th, the issues of integrity and uprightness. So what did Anita Desoso do wrong? If it is the case that the party has offended the founder, so what is wrong?
Has the party offended the founder?
Look, as institutions, as we move forward and we move backward and we move sideways, why not? We will clash at certain points in time. And all she said was that, look, founder, if it is the case that we have offended you, we apologize. And I don't see anything wrong with that.
It's instructive that you keep repeating wrongs. No one really on this platform has mentioned wrong, and I'm not sure where you're using the word or you're picking the word wrong from. But it's just curious that you think it was just an ordinary gaffe that the party may have been involved in, yet don't use
the word gaffe. Where gaffe means what?
Gaffe means a mistake or an error on your side. I'm not sure it was a simple issue of you having erred, for which reason you've had to send your national officer to apologize. I'm sure the issues may be the issues may be grievous than you are putting them, Andy.
Hold on, Umaru. The organizers of the June 4th celebration dealt copiously with the National Executive Committee of the party. And so it was a party event. It was a party event for which the national chairman and leader of the party, Comrade Kofi Portofie, was supposed to speak. In his absence, Anita spoke. What did she say? She said, look, going forward and building consensus and having a meeting of minds, if it is the case that we have offended you, we apologize. What is wrong with that?
Koko, did the party executive, maybe NEC or maybe FEC, did you go into a meeting to plan for the June 4, and as part of that, you delegated Anita Desusu and said to her that if you go on Monday, we need you to kneel before our founder and apologize on our behalf?
You think I will say so? You think I will reveal internal party issues? I will not.
No, I don't think it's a matter of revelation, because she appeared on the platform and said she was doing it for and on your behalf. So it's either you tell us that you sanctioned her, or you say that she went rogue and did that on her behalf.
Umaru Sanda, what is the issue? That as we are moving forward and looking back at our core values, and we agree. Why? Anita did not only speak in that direction, she also said, look, founder, it is possible that you also have offended. And so, in the spirit of June 4th, let us all reconcile and move forward in one direction. Is that a crime?
Did you get the response you were expecting from your founder after today's apology?
To the extent that the founder himself said that, look, I will not boom today because of the brilliant speak that has come from all the speakers. For me, I respect the founder profoundly for that statement. Then again, he said, look, June 4th is not about Jerry Rawlings. It's about the principles that June 4th stood for. And Maru, if you go back into 31st of last month, when Professor Kosi Bolche and Professor Newman Kosi spoke at the National Theatre, for me, as a Deputy General Secretary in charge of operations of this party, my excitement is from the fact that the founder and the big wigs and the owners of the party have come back together. These are persons who are not seeking parliamentary positions. They are not seeking ministerial positions. They are not seeking CEO positions. They want the forward march of the NDC. And for me, I'm excited that all the big wigs, the owners, and I repeat, the owners, and I repeat, the owners of the party are back together working so the NDC can come back in 2020. For me, that's the most exciting aspect of what has been happening since 31st of May and then today, June 4th.
Koko, in your estimation, how do you think you got here? How did you lose your founder to the extent that you had to publicly apologize for him? And
we have not lost our founder. Our founder has always spoken, Umaru. I keep saying that what happened on June 4th, or for that matter, May 15th, June 4th, and 31st, you needed somebody like Jerry Rawlings to do what he did. Jerry Rawlings has always spoken his mind. He may not be a conventional politician. All revolutions have not been led by conventional persons. The revolutions have been led by people who are non-conventional. And they have succeeded, and they have led nations up a certain path. What President Rawlings did on June 4th led us up a certain path, and we respect him for it.
But it seems he's still spelling doom for your party. He says that you are still progressing on a particular tangent that would continue to keep you in opposition after 2020 elections.
How so?
You heard him. You were there.
No. How so? Just remind me, please.
He said that you were projecting or you were progressing on a particular trajectory. Which trajectory, if you do not divert from, you are going to continue to be in opposition?
Umaru, when we celebrated our 25th birthday last year in Ashaiman, where we cut the cake, and everybody was there, President Rawlings did not mince words. He said, if the NDC knows where it is coming from and where we are, there is no way we shall lose any election in this country. It's the same point he continues to reiterate, saying that let us know where we are coming from. Let us know where we are. Then it will chart a path that will send us onto higher heights and allow us to orbit in more solid realms. And if the founder of the NDC says so, what is his crime?
Finally,
apology. Umaru, apology is a mark of leadership. To the extent that Nana Akufo-Addo refuses to apologize for the one-day one scandal, one-day one theft, one-day one stealing, that is why he is orbiting in realms of ignominy.
Koko, those are very big words, and I don't know why you introduced Nanado in there. But let's still stay.
I'm telling you.
Let's stay with the chief.
In realms of ignominy.
Okay, let's stay with the chief architect of the June 4 revolution for a little longer. Are you trying to win him back so that he'll be on the campaign, trail for you in 2020?
He has always been with us.
He wasn't. He wasn't on the 2016 campaign trail. You and I were on that campaign trail. I didn't see him.
Oh, you were on the campaign trail?
I was, of course, with my team and my recorder, except that I wasn't carrying an umbrella.
No, President Rawlings has always been part of the NDC. He will speak his mind and say what it is that he has to say. And we respect him as the founder of the NDC. Like he said himself today, that nobody is bigger than the NDC. And for me, that is what I took away from that engagement today.
Do you hope to correct the wrongs that he pointed out today so that you would have him on the campaign trail on 2020?
Why not? Why not? He has always been on the campaign trail. But he will speak his mind. Let us speak from it. You see, Bible says that, look, respect your elders. And this is a message for us, the youth. He's our founder. Let us have problems with him. Why not? Let us question some of his statements. Why not? But let us not insult him. Let us not insult President Rawlings. He's human. He may do certain things and say certain things. And I recall, Umaru, as we run this thing up, one day when we were building up to the Congress in Sunyani, where Konedu was attempting to contest President Mills, I had a call from one big personality from the NDC. And he said, Koko, Rawlings is insulting your boss. Your job is to protect your boss. Go and insult Rawlings. I went up to President Mills, and President Mills said, Koko, never insult President Rawlings, because if I'm president today, it is because he made me vice president. He did a pseudo declaration and made me contest unopposed in 2000. Today, if I am president, I give all respect to President Rawlings. I may not like all the things that he's saying, but Koko, never insult President Rawlings. I shall never insult President Rawlings. He will make his comments, Umaru, as you sit in Citi FM. Why? Do you always agree with Samens? Do you always agree with Benadable? But you will not insult. So let us disagree, but let's not insult.
Koko, you are trying to reunite the party today with the apology and the gestures to the founder, but many of your key national executives were absent. The national organizer was not there. The general secretary was not there. And indeed, your flag bearer for the election 2016 was not there at the event today. Has June 4 lost its relevance, or is rather the people who think, the people who lost their relevance?
June 4th remains a calendar event as far as the NDC's constitution is concerned. It's in the NDC's constitution. We call it Accountability Day. The national chairman could not be present, for which reason Vice Chairman Anita spoke on his behalf. The General Secretary was present, but as I know, he had to slip out for some emergency reason. I was there, the youth organizer was there, deputy communications officers were there, other party executives were there. And like I said, this event, the organizers came to the headquarters, sought our permission, sought our blessing. For which reason
I mentioned national organizer and former flag bearer. You haven't referred to them. You haven't said why they were not
there.
The
national organizer is indisposed. I've just spoken to him. The former flag bearer is out of the jurisdiction. You know that President Mahama has a lot of international engagements these days. So he's out of the jurisdiction. He didn't snub the party. No.
All right. Thank you, Koko Anyido. Really appreciate speaking to you. You taking time off to speak to us. Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress. And let me just say that we'll be hearing more from Jerry John Rawlings on Point Blank tonight in case you missed what he said. And of course, also let me just give you a flavor of Anita D'Souza's apology on behalf of the party. We'll be back shortly. Give us a quick minute. We'll be back.
Now also know you are a human being. You have also done something maybe it's not right. And I was so happy when I heard you saying that when you brought a statement out, rendering apology. You are a hero. You are a hero. You are a hero. This shows that what you have taught me is still within me. If you are a leader, be prepared to say, I'm sorry. If you are a child, be prepared to say, Daddy, I'm sorry. So I will take this opportunity on behalf of the party to kneel down before my dad. Please forgive us. Let's come together to build this country. Thank you very much.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
So what we try to do on the City Breakfast Show is to keep a conversation flowing. So you'll typically have us do the newspaper review in a very fun, easygoing way because people are stressed out, they're going to work. We're serious with the issues, but we present it in a fun way. And there are times listeners can send us a message and that becomes the whole show. So a couple of days ago, somebody complained about the East Legon tunnel and that became like a whole program. The idea is that the people listening to you must be giving value. So you must not think of your own comfort. You must work fast, you must be nimble, you must have a strong research team behind you and keep people wanting more. There's music as well and there's some hard-hitting interviews. Radio reflects the lifestyle of Ghanaians and we're going through a transition as a country. Our democracy is going well. There are lots of issues that still need to be addressed, but we still have to enjoy ourselves. So we try and put all that together into a 3.5-hour show. It's not very easy, but trust me, it's exciting. It's really, really fun. Myself, Richard Sky, Kojo Akoto Boateng, and Amadi Manasante being the core of that team with a strong production base. That's what we try and do on City Breakfast Show.
Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is of course live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. You're welcome back to Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Show is broadcasting from number 11 Dr. Martin Loeb in Adabraka in Accra, around the globe on citynewsroom.com. We're also live on Facebook. You can see what's happening in studio. Let me bring you some views on social media. Get well SAF legend says, so Umaru Sanda spent 30 minutes on the neither here or there NDC interview. Abba. Okay. Bismarck Danso says, June 4 will forever be an NDC event. It will never be a national event again. Amos Kwashi says, people over the years refuse to accept that the world has evolved and that dialogue is a powerful tool to addressing grievances. Let's not assume holier than thou position always. Hashtag Eyewitness News. Akoto Razak says, the apology of Madame De Soso to the founder shall bridge the unity for the NDC 2020 victory. Okay, more comments. AU Farouk Intamala says, I see nothing wrong with someone apologizing for wrong done in the past. This is not news at all. Okay. Harold Adaifo says, all right, I think that's a separate message. You can also send your views at Citi 973 or at Umaru Sanda with the hashtag Citi Newsroom. Alternatively, you can go on our WhatsApp platform and put a comment there, 0549 986 996. Let's talk now about number 12, Anas Arimiao Anas and Kennedy Japan. Mina W.
So the Member of Parliament for Asin Central, Kennedy Japan, has called for the head of investigative journalist Anas Arimiao Anas in the region public discourse on his yet-to-be-premiered expose on corruption within the country's football governing body. The MP, since news broke on this expose, has launched a one-man attack on the ace journalist, largely disagreeing with his methodology. And in his latest commentary on Accra-based Adom FM, Kennedy Japan says Anas Arimiao Anas should be hanged.
What I am saying now is that Obia Bisa say, I didn't know now. I have never followed anything that Anas and I don't qua
anti-corruption crusade that is won't follow Anas.
No, say a choir of fast year investigation. No.
Okay.
And nanu kwana me hu and I don't kwana mu say even the special prosecutor yeah took him on.
Yeah, or share article be by
right.
About
I'm ready anyway. What I'm saying is that share say me ba na me nua me catch you say Adumako. Udi no me Adoma.
Yeah.
We are corrupt. I should make sure say me a genuine to point my finger at you so corrupt. I want to establish clearly say Anas when you're corrupt it is always a custom officer 50 Ghana cedis for 25 years service. Anas, evidence I have about him, he has to be hanged. I'll see a hanging Anas for the evil things he has done to Ghanaians in the course of the investigation. I want no their massive wealth.
So we had Asin Central Member of Parliament there, Kennedy Japan, speaking on Adom FM this morning to Kofi Adoma. But he was speaking in Tree, of course. The platform is in Tree. And Kojo Ajiman have dragged me in studio for City Newsroom from the Bono of Origin to help me translate what exactly he was saying. Can you quickly brief us? What did he say?
Well, he's basically saying that Anas is a corrupt journalist who is cashing in with his investigative journalism. So he extorts money from people. He investigates to build mansions, and that he also needs to be investigated. And then he's carried out a lot of investigations that has led to job losses and even the death of a judge in Kwanzaa. So he also needs to be investigated.
And that he should be.
And that he should be hanged. And if he has any issues with people he has investigated, he should take them to court.
Thank you very much, Kojo Ajiman of City News there. Let me go on the phone line now, and we are privileged to speak to the Majority Leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, the Honorable Osechi Mensah Bonsu, who represents the people of Swame. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. Has the leadership of Parliament's attention been drawn to the recent commentary being run on radio by Asin Central MP Kennedy Japan?
Well, since Saturday, I have been running around a bit, so I've not followed whatever he might have said between Saturday and today, Monday. As I speak to you now, I'm holding a seminar for MPs from three regions in Ashanti, Branapo, and Western region. So we're here in Kumasi. I've not been following what he's saying over the past few days. However, I listened to him on one occasion, one morning, from the House to Parliament. He was on our phone and was making he launched a rather scathing attack on Anas, which I found very regrettable. First was questioning the modus of operation of Anas. We may agree to disagree on his method, but if you question his method, does that mean that you should launch a personal blistering attack on the person, stating emphatically that he's corrupt, and so on and so forth? And I think we should be careful, especially us as members of Parliament. If we have cause to protect anybody, we don't go the way that my colleague can say. I think we should look at ethics. I disagree with this the way it's going.
Sorry, leader. I'm having difficulties hearing you, leader. If you could kindly speak up, thank you.
Well, is it better now?
Way better, sir. Thank you.
Let me cup my hand then. Maybe it's still better.
Fantastic.
So just stepped outside.
Great. Now,
so I was saying.
Yeah, I think I heard it to a point, and that gives me an opportunity to ask a follow-up question. So, based on your over a decade experience in Parliament and knowing the procedure adopted and used by the House, would you say that the comments by your colleague and his conduct is unparliamentary?
I heard him say what you just played back to me, that if I got it right, he said Anas should be hanged. I need to know the context of his statement. You can say that go to hang. It's in the context. It doesn't mean that a rope or a nail should be tied around your neck and be hanged. I don't know I've not studied the context of the statement. I need to do that. But beyond that, I am saying that I've listened to him and I don't agree with him. The basis for his attack on the investigative journalist, what occasioned the Watergate scandal, blew it out. It was a journalist. And he went undercover to listen in to what President Richard Nixon was saying. So these things are things that the world has come to accept. And I understand he's saying that Anas has been painting his victims. I don't have evidence to that effect. And I think the question that one should ask is whether Ken has had the opportunity to view the video. And I found the question was asked of him and he said he hasn't. So if you haven't done that, why then, and how come you are so conclusive that the man dated the DFA president and got him connected and so on and so forth? I think you should be careful. I have no personal relationship with Christian entity. On occasions I've bumped into him, we've said hello to each other. When this matter broke up, I spoke to the Minister for Youth and Sports, who showed to the high intellect of Kwesi and the fact that he stood a chance of becoming the next CAF president, and perhaps, who knows, in the future, if he succeeded in becoming the CAF president, perhaps in future even becoming Africa's first FIFA president. So he had tremendous potential. I would want to say that if what is being said about him in the video, which I haven't seen, I've heard commentaries, if indeed it turns out to be true, that will be most unfortunate. Leader, if it doesn't, and it's exonerated, then like go. I don't want to rush to condemn or to applaud. Let the police look at the fraud that has been made to them. Let them get to the bottom of this. And then, as a nation, we could then make some bold statements after that. I don't think the Honorable can make the point. In fact, this referral to the police was made by the President himself, an astute lawyer, an established and accomplished lawyer. I'm not too sure that Kenneth Japon is telling the world that he knows the law better than the President. The respect of the judges, the Chief Justice acting upon the investigations of now constituted a committee that went into depth, and they found some of them culpable. I must say, I do not want to believe that the Honorable Kenny believes that he knows the law better than the Chief Justice and those people that constituted the panel. I'm not too sure about this. So you should be circumspect in pronouncing on, even if you disagree with him, you should be circumspect in the way we comment.
Leader,
I guess that's what I would say for now.
Leader, so clearly you are not happy and very dissatisfied with the commentary from the member.
Well, about 2 weeks ago when the matter first blew out, I came with my own position. I said we should not hasten to condemn his membership, but we should allow the due process to unravel.
Yeah.
So in the face of this, if it turns out that Kuti is perished the thought in it, if it turns out that he is guilty of what the case says here or allegedly here, what would be the position of Kenny?
Yes, Leader. So
Member of Parliament.
My next question.
I'm saying. I'm saying that we do not rush to pass, to make judgmental statements.
Fantastic, but it appears that Honorable Kennedy Japan has already rushed and has already passed judgment. Is actually calling for him to be hanged. And my question would be, as a leadership, you sounded very worried, speaking about this matter to me tonight. Is it the case that you are having difficulties reining in your own colleague?
Well, on this specific matter, I don't want to talk. We have frequent discussions with him. The way we make announcements about so many issues. We have frequent interactions. On this very one, I have not. Now, not because, as I said, what you are even telling me today, what you are playing out to me today, is news to me. I haven't heard it anywhere. You first gave the news to me that you have said that the investigative journalists should be hanged. I'm talking about the predicament of some of the judges, and he says one of them is dead and so on. I don't know. But let's assume that what he's saying is true. If indeed it is also true that the old justices took bribe to pay that, what about those people that is also incarcerated? Their lives don't matter. I mean, that's what I'm saying. We should be careful.
Is there a way that leadership would perhaps investigate the comments by your colleague and possibly, if there's need for punitive measures, go ahead?
I want to know the full gamut of the statement, and then leadership then may take a position after that. For now, I'm not in a position because we just played out the sniper of the team. We want to do the whole concept.
Okay.
Before we come to it, definitely.
Very well. We'll give you that time. We really appreciate your time as well. Honorable Osechi Mensah-Bonsu is a Swami MP, but majority leader and Minister for Parliamentary Affairs. Let me quickly speak to the Minority Chief Whip. The Honorable Muntaka Muhammad Mubarak represents the people of Asiwasi on the ticket of the NDC. You're welcome to Eyewitness News. I know your job as a whip is not to literally whip people, but you're supposed to coordinate and control the affairs of your members in the House. Considering that this is a member of Parliament who is engaged in comments that have been described by many on social media and other platforms as reckless, how would you whip him into line?
Well, hello, good evening to you and to your listeners. I mean, obviously, I've not heard fully what my daughter was saying, but I could get the sense that he's also worried about some of the comments of our colleagues. I mean, rationally, as persons in leadership, when you hear members of Parliament sometimes going and having comments that you think are excessive, the first thing that you try to do is to try to call them. And I have done a lot with, I'm sure, members who are listening to me who attest to the fact. Even sometimes when I see you and another person having hot exchanges on the corridors of Parliament, I try to intervene because, as I read, one of our responsibilities is to ensure that there's orderliness, and also, as much as possible, we try to get our members not to do a lot of excesses. So what I will have done definitely will have been to call our colleague to try to let him understand that we have a very huge responsibility vested in us, as members of parliament. And because of the community and privileges that we enjoy, we are supposed to also be very, very restrained in some of our comments. I mean, we have the freedom of speech, as you can see in the Constitution at 115. It gives members of parliament, I mean, a lot of freedom to be able to say whatever they want to say. But to the extent of insult and trying to incite and other things, I think that surely will be an excess, and obviously, as a state, I would be concerned.
Leader, is it a case that the leadership in the House is unable to control Honorable Kennedy Japan at all?
No, let me tell you the difficulties that we have. If you look at the Constitution, I mean, if you look at 115, that talks about, freedom for all of us. When it came to 116, where it is talking about the limitations, it says that in Parliament. I mean, if you look at our own standing orders, when it's talking about the content, it spends so much time talking about if somebody tries to obstruct Parliament, if somebody tries to prevent a member of Parliament, if somebody tries to arrest a member of Parliament. We spend the standing orders and the Constitution is spend so much time about if others try to delegate the House. But unfortunately, it's only one that I can say is very clear, where it says that when your conduct is an affront to the dignity of the House, and this is very subjective. That is why I have argued over the years that the same measure that the Constitution and our standard orders have put on others, why are we not going to put it on ourselves? So that we use that as a self-check. And that's why I'm happy about this bill that is currently before the House, the conduct of public officers. And also, when we're doing the standard orders, I mean, I kept pushing that we need to have an ethics committee where we will give in detail how to control ourselves. So that if we don't check ourselves, and the least others do to us, we run and say that, hey, they should be held to the privileges for content. Yet, some of us do the excesses to the general public. And unfortunately, if you look at the Constitution and then the standard orders, the subjective one that you can use is to say that it's an affront to the House. This is very subjective and sometimes very difficult to. So it gives room for argument when you can bring it before the leadership and even on the floor. It becomes an argument. And sometimes, because of the excessive partisanship, you don't succeed in getting the individual members to appear before the privileges to answer for that. I think that, I mean, looking at the way our democratization is going, we need to start using the same clauses and articles that prevent others from abusing us. We should really use it to also prevent us from abusing others. I think that will be on the basis of equity and fairness.
Very well. Thank you so much for your time. Honorable Mohammed Muntaka Mubarak is NDC MP for Sawase and Minority Chief Whip in Parliament. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. We are coming to you from number 11, Dr. Martin Lowe in Adabraka in Accra. So the Ghana card has finally been printed out and it is without defect. At least that's what happened at the Flagstaff House today, we are told. Sami Biafi is our correspondent from the, I keep saying Flagstaff House, Jubilee House. Sami, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good evening, Sandra.
So the cards have been issued?
Yes, at least I saw 3 cards today being issued.
Did the president get one?
No, the president was not in at the moment. As at the time they were doing it.
Okay, so who did they issue this card?
Charles Nitiatego, who is a presidential staffer, and then 2 other security guys also had theirs today.
So they are rolling it out to every member of the Jubilee House.
Every staff, including the members of the presidential press corps.
Did you get yours?
I didn't have my passport with me, so I'll get mine tomorrow.
You needed to present a passport.
Present your passport, your birth certificate, and your TIN number.
Okay, TIN number.
Yeah,
the TIN.
The TIN.
You need to present Jubilee House.
So you present these 3 things, and then the officials there will register you. So this is a process. You go, you sit behind a computer, and an official will sit on the other side. Your biometric details will be taken. A photograph of you will be taken as well. You go through some questioning, and then you provide the necessary answers as you are asked. And then within the next 10 minutes, your card will be issued to you.
I see. And so they are still printing, or they've suspended till tomorrow?
As at the time I was leaving there, I spoke to Professor Ken Atifa, who is leading this particular charge with his officials, and he said that they will leave there at 7 p.m. and so it started around 10 a.m. It will end at 7. And then tomorrow they'll start at 10 a.m. and end at, they'll start 7 a.m. and end at 7 p.m. from now till Friday.
Very well. Thank you very much. Sami Wiafi is our correspondent at the presidency. Let's move on to another story now. It's June 4th today, but yesterday was June 3, and you recall June 3 was the day that Ghana lost so many of its citizens to a twin flood and fire disaster near the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra. Now, a group called One Ghana Movement has taken this particular case to court, and they are prosecuting, or rather suing, and wanting justice for the victims of June 3. Lawyer Samson Ladia knows the brief on this particular case, and he's joined me for some perspectives. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, sir. So, this group, and I believe you're a member of One Ghana Movement, how would it be arguing in court?
Thank you very much, Umaru. These are clearly people that, as we say in law, res ipsa locutor, they have suffered various degrees of injury, and also particularly permanent disfigurement to their faces, to their legs, to their arms, and various parts of their bodies, and the medical reports clearly have indicated that some of them, in fact, in the majority, will never be able to live their normal lives again and be able to be the breadwinners that they used to be as a result of the June 3 fire and flood. And so, for a number of them that we have been able to identify as the One Ghana Movement, about close to 70 of them are those that have been properly identified, because some of them had abandoned Accra, left for their villages after the initial treatments that they had at Kolebu or the 37 military hospital, and so therefore are not immediately traceable. But this number is what the One Ghana Movement's efforts has led to finding, and who have clearly established a case before the court against the Ghana Oil Company Limited, that is GOIL, the another individual who is supposed to be a manager of the station at the Circle, Kwame Nkrumah Circle, and then the National Petroleum Authority, which is supposed to ensure that the proper regulatory processes are in place, and who clearly indicated that these people had received the appropriate licenses and were doing the right thing. But the evidence that are being put in court suggests otherwise. And of course, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly that clearly had responsibility to ensure that there was this filtering of various parts of the city that it was responsible for, that it didn't do, which also resulted in the flooding in the manner that it did and caused the havoc that it did, together with the mayor at the time. So One Ghana Movement is in court asking on behalf, or actually the individuals, prosecuting for the individuals involved, clear cases of negligence on the part of all these entities and persons.
Okay, so when One Ghana says, One Ghana Movement says is seeking for justice for June 3 victims, which is J4, J3, what does justice mean?
Well, justice will be something that resembles, because you cannot get them back to their life. You cannot get them back their life. Like I said, some of them have suffered permanent, and that's what the doctor's report says. And beyond the doctor's report, you can see them, and you have seen some of them yourself, and you can clearly see that you do not need, medical training to be able to say that what they have suffered is, permanent physical disabilities, and they have missed the opportunity that they had they will not be able and have not been able to work after that to take care of themselves in the first place and to also take care of their dependents. And, arguing that they suffered all of these, the pains and all of these, and have gone to hospital and continue to go to hospital to be treated so that they can survive, it involves money, okay? And not having work means that they will not be able to make a living. And that sort of associated difficulties that they face, clearly the disabilities that they face permanently, means that justice will mean there ought to be something that substantially resembles a compensation that gives them the opportunity to live a little closer to the life that they used to live. At least they should be able to afford, 3 square meals. They should also be able to do the basic things that they are required to do, that money is what will enable them to do. The expenses that they continue to go and incur on hospital bills. And we have, for example, calculated very clearly the amount of money that this number only has expended over the period in hospital, amounting to almost 2 million Ghana cedis. Okay, so these are clear situations that they do need help.
Very well.
And those who were responsible for what they have suffered by virtue of their negligence will ought to be made to take responsibility. And in the course of this interview, I can point you to the clear breaches of law and negligence that occasioned this situation.
Unfortunately, that's what time will allow us for now. But thank you so much for your perspective. Samson Ladiayen is lawyer and member of a group called One Ghana Movement. They are in court wanting justice for June 3 victims. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Up next is the latest in the world of business. And the latest in the world of business, as will be presented by Pius Emihie Duku, is that the Ministry for Lands and Natural Resources has fined Newmont Gold Ghana Limited, DRA and Consa Ghana Limited a total of about $3 million over an accident that occurred on the Ahafo mine. We'll be hearing that shortly. Stay with us.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens. Do you know that Castro is the world's most trusted engine oil?
Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. Every weeknight, do join me for the big stories of the day as we do the analysis, the interviews, the probing questions that will help you find closure to the top stories that bother your mind. The show is, of course, live on Facebook here on Citi FM's handle. Hi, I am Umaru Sanda. I'm the host of Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM.
What we try to do on the Citi Breakfast Show is to keep a conversation flowing. So you'll typically have us do the newspaper review in a very fun, easygoing way because people are stressed out, they're going to work. We're serious with the issues, but we present it in a fun way. And there are times listeners can send us a message and that becomes the whole show. So a couple of days ago, somebody complained about the East Legon tunnel and that became like a whole program. The idea is that the people listening to you must be giving value. So you must not think of your own comfort. You must work fast, you must be nimble, you must have a strong research team behind you, and keep people wanting more. There's music as well, and there's some hard-hitting interviews. Radio reflects the lifestyle of Ghanaians, and we're going through a transition as a country. Our democracy is going well. There are lots of issues that still need to be addressed, but we still have to enjoy ourselves. So we try and put all that together into a 3.5-hour show. It's not very easy, but trust me, it's exciting. It's really, really fun. Myself, Richard Sky, Kojo Akoto Boateng, and Namajimana Sante being the core of that team with a strong production base. That's what we try and do on Citi Breakfast Show.
Witness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
You're welcome to Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. This bulletin is powered by citibusinessnews.com. That is your most comprehensive business news website. Let's begin our bulletin from the mining sector, where an investigative report on Newmont's Ghana's Alpha mine accident has fined Newmont and 2 other subcontractors a total of $2.7 million. The report, amongst others, cited Newmont Ghana for negligence, while it cited its contractors Consa Limited and DRA Ghana Limited for failing to ensure safety and operating without permit respectively. Now 6 people died when the roof of an expansion mine site at Newmont Ghana's Kenyasi No. 2 mine site collapsed in April this year. Meanwhile, the committee has advised that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources direct Newmont Ghana Limited to suspend any contract it has with DRA Ghana Limited with immediate effect. Now, a latest report by Plant Village, a research unit of Pennsylvania State University in the U.S., has revealed that 2,000 farmers in Ghana share one extension officer. The report, which was put together in collaboration with Ghanaian NGO Millennium Promise, also revealed that more than 80% of farms in the country are family farms, with the owners having little or no access to knowledge on increasing productivity. According to the Agric Ministry, only 2,600 extension officers are currently serving in over 200 districts nationwide with lack of resources. The country director for Millennium Promise, Chief Nat Nsako, tells Citi Business News the current ratio describes the country's failure in improving the agric sector.
If indeed we really mean business, we should close that gap. The gap of 1:2,000 simply means that in about 4 months, there's no way a farmer, or even a year, a farmer may not have been visited by an extension officer. And that tells you that then the farmer will have to do whatever he thinks or he has inherited in terms of tradition. And in this day and age, that's not how we do business. If you want to take farming as a business, there are a lot of youth out there who want to be engaged. So what prevents us from recruiting more young people, empowering them with the skills they need, and then making sure that we deploy them to these farmlands or farm communities to make sure that at least we have about 400:1 by introducing what we call the agric extension assistance in the agric sector. If you can't go for the ultimate, at least go for something close. Agric extension assistance, empower them.
So that was the country director for Millennium Promise, Chief Nat Nsako. To some other stories now, and Aviation Minister Cecilia Japa has disclosed that her unit will not shield any person or persons whose negligence led to report of unsanitary conditions at the toilet at the waiting halls of the Kutaka International Airport. A video which has gone viral on social media shows an unkempt toilet which made it inconvenient for patrons of the facility.
I just wanted to rush here and make all of us aware that we are not compromising on good sanitation practices. We are not compromising on the fact that the place should be maintained. And then we should know that people should be put there 24/7.
Cecilia Japa is the Minister of Aviation, and she made the remarks when she paid an unannounced visit to the toilet on Monday to ascertain the situation at the airport. To the banking industry, where some Islamic scholars are urging the Bank of Ghana to allow the operation of Islamic banks to improve Ghana's financial system. The central bank in 2016 withdrew the license it gave to Saudi Arabia-based financial company Maca after the company failed to meet key requirements for the granting of a full operation license on 2 occasions. The BOG, however, maintains that it is working to encourage the establishment of an Islamic bank in Ghana. An executive member of the Ghana Muslim Ambassadors, Dr. Abubakar Mohammed Mazouk, in an interview with Citi Business News, said the Islamic banking will be of great benefit to the country as a whole.
Opportunities in loan. Islamic banking will not entertain interest. Any one-sided burden in financial transaction is avoided in Islamic banking. Again, the issue of profit and loss is a shared responsibility. The giver of the loan and the receiver share the profit when the need arises. Then these two values are enough to justify the relevance of Islamic banking and finance.
That was an executive member of the Ghana Muslim Ambassadors, Dr. Abu Bakar Mohammed Mazouk. Now, the company responsible for clearing the energy sector debt, ESLA PLC, has debunked reports by the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors that a total of 915 million cedis was not reported by government in the 2016 and 2017 petroleum revenue receipt. The Chamber last week alleged in the 2017 industry report that government failed to account for 576 million cedis in 2016 and 339 million cedis in 2017. But in a release copied to Citi Business News, ESLA PLC stated that the chamber got its computations wrong. According to ESLA, the gross volumes which form the basis of computations by the CBOD were based on the oil marketing company's performance statistics report published by the NPA. It maintained that while the data accurately reflects volumes of petroleum products consumed, they cannot in their entirety be used for the computation of taxes and levies, as they do not discount the volume of petroleum products that are eligible for levy and tax exemptions by law. Let's now take you to the City Business Festival, and today one of our partnership events came off at the Movenpick Hotel, and there some players in the financial industry have called for collaboration between banks and mobile money operators, even as banks seek to create access to funds for entrepreneurs. According to the director of Vodafone Cash, Martinson Obing Ejay, banks can track the credit worthiness of entrepreneurs who do not have bank account yet seek to acquire loans by checking their credit worthiness on their mobile money platform. And he was speaking as part of today's Women Entrepreneurship Summit in partnership with the NBSSI.
Mobile financial services, for instance, has helped a lot of women in places like Kenya and Tanzania to have access to funds. So what typically happens is that their credit scoring is done mainly based on the amount of mobile money transactions they've done within a period. So some of them, most of them actually don't have a bank account, but their mobile money account usage was good enough representation for them to access funds through the bigger financial institutions, i.e. the banks, more formal financial institutions. So I'm admonishing most women to start trying to digitize their payments and collections.
Martinson Obinajay is the director of Vodafone Cash. Meanwhile, a marketing and branding expert, Professor Robert Hinson, has advised corporate institutions to critically look into connecting their corporate brands with products they offer. He says organizations should win the competition if the two phenomena are given equal prominence. Professor Hinson made the remarks when he appeared on the City Breakfast Show today as part of the honor series of the City Business Festival. Have a listen to his presentation.
An institution is conceptualized in terms of its mission, vision, and what a brand does for it, that it helps the institution to articulate the way in which it wants to provide value to its key stakeholders in a manner that outperforms the competition. The critical thing is that a corporate brand should help to position you in a manner that helps you to outperform the competition. And it's typically manifested through what you call the brand promise that represents the organization and reflects its heritage, values, culture, people, and strategy.
So just get an example. A corporate brand could be Citi FM and a product brand could be the City Breakfast Show.
Absolutely. Okay. No question at all. And it's very profound to use those examples because what it then means is that the competitive spheres for the corporate brand might be different from the product brand. And you need to understand those idiosyncrasies because the corporate brand might be doing well, but if the breakfast show doesn't have clear strategies to outcompete other English breakfast shows or even account breakfast shows, then you have a corporate brand that does so, but product brand that struggles.
Professor Robert Hinson is a lecturer at the University of Ghana Business School and a marketing and branding expert. Now, you may want to join the discussion again tomorrow morning on the City Breakfast Show at 9 a.m. for the continuation of the on-air series. This week is focusing on marketing and brand management. For other information, also visit citybusinessnews.com regarding the City Business Festival. I am Pius Amihe Eduku, and that is it for City Business News on Eyewitness News. Umaru Sanda Amado is next with Point Blank.